What's going on, family and friends? Welcome back to My Thoughts Uncut. I am your host, Terrence Manning. I appreciate you guys for watching yet again. We're going to talk about Trump breaking news yet again. He states he's going to cancel, terminate Biden's Autopen. So, all the executive orders that Biden had written, quote unquote, while he was president, Trump says he's going to cancel it. Let's take a look.
To read you exactly what he posted. He said, quote, any document signed by Sleepy Joe Biden with the Autopen,
Sleepy
which
Joe.
is approximately 92% of them, is hereby terminated and of no further force or effect. He says the Autopen is not allowed to be used if approval is not specifically given by the President of the United States. He also says in that post, quote, I am hereby canceling all executive orders and anything else that was not directly signed by crooked Joe Biden because the people who operated the Autopen did so illegally. He goes on to say in that post, Joe Biden was not involved in the Autopen process, and if he says he was, he'll be brought up on charges of perjury.
Now, objectively speaking, I'm not sure if Trump can do this because I think the president is fairly protected when it comes to the auto pen and giving out executive orders. So I'm not sure if Trump can do this, but for him to state this today, maybe he found a loophole or maybe there is some grounds to actually pursuing this, but I've never seen anything like this. We're going to get CNN's take on this.
President Trump again going after his predecessor, former President Joe Biden. The current president posting online within the last hour that any document signed by the former president while he was in office is, quote, hereby terminated and of no further force or of effect. He goes on to allege that Biden was not involved in what he called the, quote, Autopen process. That if he says he were involved, that Biden will be brought up on perjury charges. This news is just breaking, and there are a lot of questions. Perhaps most importantly, if the president even has the authority to do this, or just what orders could be or would be impacted if he is indeed successful. So let's get off the sidelines and go into the arena. My panel is here along with CNN senior White House correspondent Kristen Holmes, who's in West.
Now, I do believe that out of all the auto pen signatures that Biden, well, technically it was him, that he definitely signed was definitely for his son. I'm pretty sure he knowingly did that because that's his son. Now, it's fair to say that this is a good question. Like, was he truly capable knowingly signing these things or giving someone the authority to? Because this is a big, this is serious. This can change how presidents in the future utilize the auto pen and whether or not they have to document each and every time they give access or give the authority to someone to sign something on their behalf. We'll see.
Palm Beach, where the president spent the Thanksgiving holiday. So, Kristen, former President Biden's use of the auto pen, of course, has been a frequent topic for this president, but he's going much, much further here.
Yeah, and Manu, look, there are a lot of questions here, as you noted. I mean, there's legalities involved and talking about what this would even apply to. I mean, Trump in this True Social post says that it's 92% of things that Biden signed to use the auto pen. It's unclear where he got that percentage. And again, the legality of all of this, can he just undo what Biden did? I would assume the answer is no. But of course, we're still talking to lawyers to figure out what exactly is, if anything, possible here. Now, as you've noted, President Trump has been fixated on this idea of Biden using the auto pen to the point where he actually changed his portrait, Biden's portrait in his presidential walk of fame to an auto pen there. And he has said both privately and publicly that he believes that this auto pen is going to be the biggest scandal that the country has seen. Now, a couple of things. You talk a little bit about what happens if Biden pushes back and says he was part of the process. He'll get charged with perjury. That's what Trump says in this True Social. Well, we know Biden has already already pushed back on this idea. He has said that everything that and all the use of the Autopen was completely above board, that he knew everything that was going on while he was president. It wasn't the people around him. He was making the decisions, even if they were.
Now, I do remember Mike Johnson, who's the Speaker of the House, when Biden was president, he finally got a one-on-one meeting with him, and he asked him about why did he sign. It was one of the laws that he signed, and Biden thought it was like for some training or something else, but no, it was actually written into law that he signed this, and that's when Mike Johnson realized that Biden wasn't all there. Now, we all knew that from seeing him trip and fall and walking the wrong way all the time and not being able to put a sentence together ever, pretty much. And you kind of saw signs right after he became president, but as the years went on, you clearly saw he should not have been the commander in chief.
Using the Autopen. So what exactly does that mean for this so-called perjury charge, and what happens next there? And the other part of this, of course, being that President Trump has called for an investigation already into Biden's use of the Autopen, and at one point essentially said that anything that he signed should be null and void. Again, as you noted, this is taking it a huge step further, saying that it is null and void and that everything is going to be reversed. We are still reaching out to White House officials as well as to lawyers to figure out if there is anything that this means in the legal sense, and also in terms of the White House, what they're specifically looking at, if anything, when it comes to reversing decisions that were signed by Biden using this Autopen.
Yeah, a lot of questions. You're getting those answers. We'll bring you right back up. Kristen Holmes live for us, traveling with the president. Thank you so much. And my panel is here in the arena, including CNN political analyst and investigative reporter for the New York Times, David Fahrenthold, contributing columnist at the Boston Globe, Eugene Scott, CNN political commentator Sochi Hinojosa, Republican strategist Malik Abdul. We're also joined by Donald Trump's former attorney, Bill Brennan, who's live with us as well. Bill, thank you so much for joining us too. I want to start with you and about whether Trump even has the authority to do this. He's saying he can do this. Can he actually do this legally?
Manu, it's my understanding that the Autopen's been around since around 1930. 2011, President Barack Obama first used it in a high-value document. It was 3 sections of the Patriot Act that he wanted extended by Congress. Unfortunately, he was in France at the time. He used it. It was valid. In 2005, President George W. Bush asked the Department of Justice for an opinion, and the DOJ said at that time, under certain circumstances, the use of an Autopen is legally sufficient. I think the real issue here, Manu, is going to be scienter, whether or not President Biden knew that the documents that were signed with the Autopen were used. If he knew and he approved it, then I think it passes muster.
So it seems at least that Bush and Obama has used the Autopen, but not as frequently as Biden used it. And I think Biden used it damn near 90% of the time. It's unprecedented how many times he's used it. And he just stated Obama and Bush, they didn't use it that much. And Trump, I don't think Trump used it once. He signs everything. He shows it on TV. He shows the document he's signing. He talks about what he's signing. So at the very least, I think that what's going to happen is Trump could just be trolling, and he's just making the media, especially the liberal media, just upset and have something to talk about over the weekend, just to spew over this and get upset and get crazy. Or he is very serious about this, and his legal team are finding ways to fight this and to justify that Biden wasn't knowingly allowing people to use the Autopen. They were doing it behind his back, and he did not know of any of these things, or at least a majority of it, because there's some things that he signed that he's been against. especially illegal immigration. He's always been against illegal immigration. So it could be one or two ways. Trump could just be trolling, or his legal team has found something, even if it's small, to at least scare the Democratic Party and to scare Biden. But I tell you this Autopen, future presidents, they're going to try their best to use it as least as possible. And when they do use it, I'm pretty sure they're going to have it documented, whether it's a media or video from themselves, to where they're saying, yes, this is what I'm signing. I'm using an auto pen, etc., etc. Either way, Trump having some kind of news over the weekend is always awesome. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for my future videos. And you know who should be upset, or at least nervous? Hunter Biden. He better hope this don't come back to haunt him. Catch you next time.